Hello? There I am. Wait a minute, this isn't right.
Mental hook, shenpa, samsara, life in general, we can get fairly caught up. And in that moment of getting caught up, we really lose ourselves. We lose our practice frequently. We lose our training in these Lojong slogans. It's why they're so valuable, because with a pith phrase, it says, one moment, we can remember. We can once again be completely open-hearted, boundless, and no longer being caught in contracted ego, clinging and fixation. And so we're going to be talking about ways we can do that. I even have a few phrases that I have been using. I have to say they have been dramatically helpful. And I'm going to recommend this week as a part of the practice, and I think I'm on recording because I know we have several people traveling. I'm going to recommend that we memorize one of these. And if that's just not your thing, because memorizing isn't for everyone, repeating it every day by having it written on a card, or in your car if you spend a lot of time in the car, or wherever you might be. So that's going to be points 4 and 5. We're going to be talking about them some more on Saturday. So I think we'll get a double dose. But just so that you know, I think these two points, point 4 and 5, are some of the best in the entire 59 slogans. So I hope everyone had a beautiful little brief holiday. I know that doesn't mean for many of us what it used to mean, which is getting together in a physical way for picnics or time at the beach. Or what I also know it does mean, and is an opportunity for sure for me, is finding ways to enjoy, be present, to be grateful for, and share our blessings in whatever ways we can find. And I know that we're all looking for what those right ways are for us right now. Since for some, it doesn't include our patterns, our old habits, our familiar ways, the things we have done throughout our lifetime in the same way. So yes, I'm very aware that times are different, and yes, it also does still mean that we can cultivate merit, joy, and awakening every moment. In fact, that's what I believe every life is about, and then how we can do that. So we're going to look at the slogans a little bit, but let's begin. I'm going to get chat off. I do not have the television here. I'm just working with my little screen today. So just extend a little more patience possibly to me, because it may take me just a few more moments to get myself organized and navigating. So it looks like we're good here. I'm going to move this, see if I can continue. Can anybody see the poem there? We read this poem yesterday in Monday evening practice as well, and I thought it was so relevant that I thought we might just take another look at it this morning. Is there anybody there who might be interested in giving it a read?
Hey, Di, it's Carrie. I can't see anything, and it looks like you have you have a host and a co-host up.
I don't know. I didn't intend that, but I don't know if it matters. That you can't see anything matters.
Well, there's one that says Diana Shimkus has started screen sharing, and the wheel keeps spinning.
Oh, you're not seeing it.
So can you, maybe if you discontinue the co-host, because you have both Diana Shimkus host and Diana Shimkus co-host up.
I think the Diana Shimkus other one is Mike.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah. So I'm going to do this again, Carrie. So just stay there for a minute and see if,
there you go. Got it.
Did that work?
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got at least that working. Okay. So while we're taking a look at that, since now I know nobody saw it, to even decide if you wanted to read it. See if there's anybody there who would like to read it. Otherwise, we'll find another way. I've got the kitty scratching at my door. I'm going to let him in while you guys are looking at the poem so he doesn't hurt his nails. Hi. So any takers on that poem?
I will, Di, if you want.
All right, Carrie, you, I think, saw it yesterday, possibly.
Yes, I took a picture of it.
Thank you.
On my phone.
Thank you. Let me get myself settled for a second here, and then thank you very much. Okay, anytime you're ready, thanks.
The poem's titled, We Have. One river gives its journey to the next. We give because someone gave to us. We give because nobody gave to us. We give because giving has changed us. We give because giving could have changed us. We have been better for it. We have been wounded by it. Giving has many faces. It is loud and quiet, big though small, diamond in wood nails. Its story is old, the plot worn, and the pages too. But we read the book anyway, over and again. Giving is first and every time, hand to hand, mine to yours, yours to mine. You gave me blue and I gave you yellow. Together, we are simply green. You gave me what you did not have, and I gave you what I had to give. Together, we made something greater from the difference.
I thought that was as beautiful a description. That poem is by Albert Rios, South American contemporary poet. I thought that was about as good a description of Tonglen as one could find. And so I thought we'd share a contemporary version of that. Thank you very much. Let's prepare to sit. I will stop that share for now and go on to another little while, but let's practice together. And so this point for training, use everything. We practice then with every breath. On training on the medium of the breath, we use everything in which to offer all the merits, all the blessings, whatever has been accumulated, whatever can contribute to the good with the out breath. And we take in whatever distress, whatever mental affliction, whatever disturbance, conflict is possible with the in-breath, recognizing, I believe, first that we're already doing it. It's already happening. We're already interconnected. This is already the truth. We're just remembering than in these moments of training. And so setting yourself for sitting. And then we invite that flash of bodhicitta. This is the whole point of the slogan training, to ignite, enliven, and sustain bodhicitta, the awakened heart mind. We could picture those gatherings of light at the top of the head, gathering all merits, all good from all directions, and breathing, beginning by breathing it in. This is the beginning pre-meditation. It's called gathering your supports. And then we remember our base aspiration. May we contribute to the good, cause least harm, and do so not only for ourselves, but for all beings. Just that recollection itself ignites that flash of bodhicitta. As it said in point 1, if we feel we need more supports, we can go further by remembering the 4 thoughts, the 4 reminders. Remembering the truth of the preciousness of this human life. Sunny and snowy, cloudy and rainy, all precious. We can remember the truth of impermanence and death, that nothing can be kept or held permanently, that everything is in a constant flux and flow and change and end as we know it in this lifetime. We remember the truth of karma, that all that we will be left with is the benefits of the good we have done and its result. And it will be that which propels us to the next moment and the next. And the truth of samsara, the truth of suffering, that we know it is here, we know it is a part of this life, and that there is a way to train, not to just be running in the other direction or contracted. And we offer this wisdom, we offer the compassion that it generates, we offer this to the well-being and the benefit of all sentient beings everywhere, without exception, omitting none, freeing us all. And then simply smiling at that widening, ever-expanding heart, the one that remembers both the goodness in this life, its preciousness, and its challenges. We hold it all. And as we're breathing in, we simply make contact with the whole of the body sitting here. Bringing mind and body together into this seat, this Dharma seat we've taken. We stabilize the feet, the legs, and the hips. Breathing down and in, making contact. Settling. Making light contact with the out-breath, breathing it down into the base. And then gathering the breath there. And then with an in-breath, making contact with the in-breath, breathing up the body, elongating, energizing, breathing up through the spine, up the back, up and out the top of the head. This is a process of familiarization, just remembering the breath, remembering its value, its purpose. And seeing if we can feel the effects. The uplift of the in-breath, the stabilizing, settling, steadying nature of the out-breath. Let's just rest here for a few breaths. Seeing if you notice that we have to become familiar with the breath once again, even though we've been breathing since birth itself. There's a momentary awkwardness, uncertainty. It's like shaking hands with a new friend. But with each breath, we remember. We begin to become ourselves. The thinking mind no longer running the narrative. We're actually making contact with what's real right here. It is with strong determination and then a beginning and developing momentum that we stay engaged with the breath. And even with the breath itself, we begin to train by turning away from the distraction, at least letting it go and not nourishing it, and resting in the truth of the present moment as known by this body breath. A long breath or a short one, smooth or jagged, none of this is a problem at all. It's not the quality of the breath, it's the quality of mind greeting the breath. And this we try to keep simply open, supple, and trained towards the breath and body. Watching for the habits of thinking, opinionating, list making, moving off into past and future. We just keep arriving here. We're all love, all good, all compassion, all contribution and benefit is possible. Only here, right now. Awake now. In this portion of the practice, we give equal measure to the in and out breath. Shamatha practice is a stabilizing breath. But we don't move directly into Tonglen, the practice of taking and sending from this place of shamatha. It's actually too easy to become claustrophobic, to overgrip the breath, to choke into the breath, because we have not really remembered just yet, though we are now more stable, the wide open, vast space reality of our awakened heart mind. And so we begin to follow the out breath into that wide open space at the end and begin to practice simply opening. It's like sending that radiant heart light out in all directions. We're sending that light with the out breath. We're letting go of the fixation on the body, on the breath itself, and on the self who thinks it's breathing. And as the mind becomes once again now familiar with the vast open reality, the ultimate bodhicitta, love, open space, warmth in all directions, we're just resting, and you'll just notice the a toggling for a few moments between the breath and the open space. And that's just perfect practice until we can rest evenly, comfortably, just in that wide open space. Both of these methods are invaluable and will be used throughout the whole of the practice. Just right, you'll know when you have to come back to gather, to collect one's attention and aspiration again. And then when you've got it together, when the mind is more stable and centered, you can open back up into that ocean of awareness. And here we have to really let go of the self. Nothing to hold on to, no body, no breath. Doesn't mean they're not there. It means they cannot be a source of continuing stability. We're resting in open space. When our mindfulness becomes weakened by being pulled by a distraction, we always have the breath as that beginning point. Can always come back. Stabilize and open when ready. And as we have now become stable in that ocean of awareness, resting without prop or condition, we can then begin to invest in a few moments of Tonglen, this sending and taking practice. And at any time that feels like it's becoming too much, or you're not, we can always come back to the breath and just rest when ready in the open space. But we don't have to call anything to mind. This using life as it is as the practice means just being here, present and open, seeing what's available and using everything. And so if it's a moment of difficulty, a harsh thought, a distracted thought, a self-judging thought, a condemnation, criticism, and we recognize that thought, we can simply breathe it in, with the understanding that may I use this very distraction, this very harsh thought, this very affliction to end all suffering for all beings. And may I send out relief. May I send out whatever good medicine is the end of that affliction. Maybe resting for a moment in that open space. We can use visualizations in these practices. Of course, Tonglen is a highly visual practice. We can take in that thick, dark, heavy thought, smoke, whatever comes to mind. I just saw, for whatever reason, the pictures of grimacing faces came with that breathing in, those suffering beings. And often what naturally comes for me is sending out life, light, and love. You can do this one time, you can do this 50. You can feel your way. What's available? Breathing in this affliction for all beings. And sending whatever wealth, whatever health, whatever resource I have, whatever is needed. And then another image or object may arise. I'm just getting an itch, as an example, in my left shoulder. I can make contact with that, and then remembering once again, yes, all beings suffer with the mental affliction of not liking, not wanting something in the body. Can I breathe this in for myself and all beings? This moment of bodily distress, very mild. And then I send out relief. It might be a sound, it might be a sensation, it might be a thought. Whatever arises in this ocean of awareness, we can use this in the training. And I think it's often better than conjuring or fabricating. I think we can use present moment life just as it is. So that each breath and each moment becomes purposeful and meaningful by your very breathing and being. We can use everything. Beautiful sound of the birds, the pet who is near you. We can also make contact with pleasant objects, and rather than grab, hold, or cling, we send them out. May these blessings and merits be of benefit and contribute to the end of suffering. And you'll begin to know when you become fatigued, when you get maybe distracted, or you go off into thinking. This is probably time to stop. And you can simply come back to the breath if that's the best anchor for you, gathering the mind. And finding a resting place. Place to rest the body, a place to rest the mind. Unified. And we smile at the relief, at the freedom from suffering, from affliction, from distraction. We remember how to rest so that we can love. May all beings benefit. Thank you. Thank you for that practice. I threw my glasses at the cat who was picking at my sofa. Oh, there they are, which is why I had to leave momentarily, which is, I'm going to grab those. Of course, I toss them most lovingly. Neighbor cat, lovely visitor. So that's the essence of what I think these kind of on the spot Tonglen, that the whole point of point 4, I'm going to read just a little of it from the book that I have been studying with Lama Kathy, The Great Path of Awakening. And again, point 4 is quite short, so I'm just going to read this one. How to use one's whole life. What to do during one's life and also during one's death. Those are the two points in point 4, by the way. One is how do we train in life, and it listed these 5 forces. And the 5 forces, I went over some of them, was the force of determination. That was the momentum building. That's the essence of bodhicitta, how to activate and come to recognize that we are, it is more than our own personal energies that we're calling on. And I love that part of the practice, because then it's, if I'm a little tired, it's okay. There are other forces and sources available. If I'm not in the mood, it's all right. There's everything working to support this Dharma, this practice, and these efforts. So when I remember that, there's just a much greater ease. When I get self-clinging and self-fixating, don't we notice it? We start going, I don't have it. I'm not capable. We get into a lot of eyeing, and it creates a lot of problems. But this strong determination, calling on all the sources, whether that's your guru yoga, the igniting a moment of bodhicitta, remembering the good, recollecting moments of kindness, care, compassion, love in your life, and using these as the bread, daily bread, to awaken our own and energize our own good hearts. So strong determination is one of the first forces of the 5. Familiarization, repeating small moments often. This is what we're going to be practicing this week. How not to take on 5 hours of Tonglen, but 5 breaths of Tonglen. How to catch a moment of good and make the offering. How to catch a moment of difficulty and willingly taking it in. This is the training and the practice. And I think we need a few slogans to help us with that. So we'll talk about that in a moment. The 3rd is the force of virtuous seeds, always remembering that as you bring your energy, physical, verbal, and mental, that this is all virtuous activity, whether you're feeling successful or you're not feeling successful, whether you think you've got it together or you don't, it's all of benefit. The very effort, the very willingness, the very stepping in is meritorious and is accumulating a good for you and others. So recognizing the seeds of virtue being planted with every breath in which you use the breath on purpose for offering and receiving. The 4th is the force of repudiation. I did actually do that one in a different way. That's not my favorite word, of course. But repudiation, what I mean by that is that we don't stay locked in the distraction. We don't go off into an addictive pattern. We recognize when we finally can what's happening, and rather than just stay locked up there, we actually agreeably come back to the breath and to the intention of our practice. So repudiation, I don't, non-distraction, I would say Chogyam would say, and that would be a word I think would be usable. So this is the 4th force that we have available. And the 5th is remembering the aspiration itself, as I also did. Can we remember why we're here and practicing? For the benefit of ourselves, for our relief, but not only, but for the relief of all beings. Because if you are free, there is no freedom. So that's really all that there is in point 4. That's one of the slogans. The second one says, and do this then at the time of death. It says, bring these same forces to bear at the time of death. Count on these in the same way as you have trained now throughout your lifetime, and they will be of benefit to you and also contribute to you arriving at in the correct realm, wherever that might be. So it's that's the 2 points in point 4. I'm going to see if I can't pull up just for a second the slogans in general and see if I can't show you those points. Let me go over here to the screen. Yeah, here we go. Now I hope you guys can see this. Can we see the new point 4 and 5? Anybody? See it? I'm going to say it. Yeah. Yep, thanks. Okay, so there's the point 4, using everything in one. There's the 5 strengths I just quickly reviewed. And then the 18th says, and use this at the time of death as well. So that's all that's going on there. I'm going to go down, though, to point 5. I want to talk about those. I like to talk about them together. I love point 5. It's really the measuring sticks, I would say, for our practice. The very first one, here, slogan 19, all Dharma agrees at one point. is the largest, most compelling, I think, in point 5. It's got a backup slogan, which is the 2. I'm going to talk about it in a minute. Of the 2 witnesses, hold the principle 1. You know yourself better than anyone else. Of the witnesses of me and you, always count on your clarity, your before you surrender, I would say, is what they mean, to the opinion of others. That's really what it says. It doesn't mean don't regard others' perspectives. That's not what it's saying at all. It is saying, in opinion taking, be watchful always. Hold the principal 1. And by the way, the principal 1 isn't yours either. So the little koan for the day is, again, what's the 1? What's the principal perspective? Well, it is the truth of the Dharma. Hold that, whatever the truth is, like it or not, pleasant or unpleasant, something you feel like, something you don't feel like. Of the 2 witnesses of me and you, hold the principle. For me, that is the truth of Dharma itself. All Dharmas agree at one point, and that is that ego fixation is the point of the training. And that is throughout all traditions, that ego clinging, ego fixation, self-cherishing is, and it's getting unstuck is the point of all training. Always maintain only a joyful mind. Mingyur did a little beautiful piece on this as well as Sakyong, I think, both of these Tibetan masters. And the bottom line is a joyful mind becomes very easy when we are using the mind for these purposes. And then the last slogan 22, if you can practice even when distracted, you are well trained. That's one of my personal favorites. It means use the distraction itself for the practice. This is what we did today again when I said, let's use what's difficult, the itchy shoulder, the cat scratching at the sofa. And how do we use it, I think, is what I want to talk about for the rest of today. How then do we use whatever is arising, and how can you know? These are the measuring sticks. If you can practice even when distracted. And so what does that mean? Let me see if I can't get out of here and go to the other screen. I'm going to stop share for a moment there. Any questions about this so far? Of course, there aren't any, I'm sure. We're all so well informed. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but I will attempt a refresh and see if that can help. So I'm hoping you can see this. Can anyone see when you start thinking about the benefits of others?
Yes.
Thank you. Yay. Well, that was totally accidental. When you start thinking about the benefits of others and opening and remembering others, this is that freeing oneself from ego fixation. This is the beginning of the momentum that we're wishing to continue and always has great merit. Successful or not successful. I got it, I was perfected it or I didn't, isn't even the point. The point is that we are making that effort to see beyond our own limited minds, to open the heart mind beyond our own perspective, bias, preference, and even beliefs. And these were the 2. I did show one at the beginning, but I want us to write these down somewhere. And I'm going to ask everybody to repeat this every day, at least once a day. This is the one that Khenpo Karthar Rinpoche likes, the one at the top. May this, or my mental affliction, called the distraction of the itchy shoulder, called the harsh thought that maybe we're not going to get out of this alive, the pained perspective that I'm never going to be able to see my brother again, whatever is happening there. That we can use this on the spot, in the very moment, for offering that, to take that in, breathe that in, remember, on the medium of the breath, for all beings. May all beings be free from this affliction. And so this is what it says. May this, my mental affliction, contain the mental affliction of all sentient beings. By my working through this moment of mental affliction, may I and all beings be free of this affliction. May we all become Buddhas or free through these efforts. So that was Khenpo Karthor's version. What could you easily say? May I take this in for all beings. May I send it out in offer of relief and freedom, right? You're going to find your phrase, but you're going to write it down and repeat it. Small things repeated often become good habits and good qualities. So what's your phrase? I'm going to ask you next week. What are you doing? A moment of, like, confront a moment of difficulty. I'm taking this in from myself and all beings, and I am breathing out relief, freedom for the benefit of all beings. May we all be free. And you're going to find your way to that. A second phrase down here that I had posted at the beginning is, when I am happy, may my merit flow to others. May its blessings fill the sky. When I am unhappy, may the suffering of all beings be mine. May the ocean of suffering run dry. And so you see those same ideas or notions. I want you to find a phrase, make one up. These are just examples. And I want you to repeat it every day. Put it on a card. It would be a great idea. Carry it around, stick it in your car if you're there. Put it on your computer screen, whatever might be helpful to you. But repeating them is, we know, a part of the training, and that which we repeat grows stronger, as we know. I'm going to stop here before we go to Chogyam's book and just see if there are any thoughts or questions about this. I'm sure there are. Mikey, I see you on the screen, but I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
You just couldn't hear me because I didn't have any thoughts.
Well, that's sometimes the best. Well, what do you think about this idea? Your training is not your favorite thing, generally. I know it's not that you're opposed. So what do you think about this idea of using the breath and the moment we're in, of course? One is you have to know the moment you're in. I think that's a little clever. And then using it as a way of relieving suffering or offering relief.
Well, a number of teachers have suggested that whatever arises in the present moment is your opportunity to, be aware, and,
Wake up.
Whether it's a thought rises and passes, whether it's an emotion that rises and passes, whether it's some physical phenomenon, it rises and passes. And so the ability to just notice is it. And so to me, that's my training. That's
it. That's really the point, that we can use it beyond the moment of recognition. All schools would say, can we use the moment then to gain wisdom or compassion? And the answer is, of course, by the recognition itself. Here this is. And then how to use, well, here this is. How do I use it now? And the training is opening no matter what it is. That's right.
Yeah, the using it is, to me, not as important, because it's it's the actual plugging in. And then, because once you decide, well, I'm going to use it to do a particular thing, it's not necessarily it's a good or bad thing to use it, but you, you've already sent that energy out to, and so, you know, the using it to me, you know, can be, let's construct something that sounds, you know, nice and pleasant and makes me feel good. When the reality is you've already, you know, you've done everything you needed to do. And so by plugging into the particular thing, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant, and just noticing it and allowing it to rise and pass, again, there's your Tonglen.
Yes. From the point of view of the teachings, it says that getting beyond oneself is a benefit. And so moving beyond just the recognition into the reality, the awareness that you're saying, that others feel this too, that there is a way to care, not only for one's afflictions as well as one's blessings, but for those of others, is also training. That the mind itself will not, left to its brainstem device, will not necessarily move out and open. And that recognition itself, though it is mindful, is not yet considered engaged compassion. That also takes a training.
That is the beauty of the non-dual perspective, because it's not you, it's not the self, the awareness is not you.
That's right.
And so
it is not only,
you know,
yes,
that's not to say that it's not of the form, but it's not the form.
Right.
And so the non-dual portion of it, again, I was rereading some things that I had read years ago, and because I kept wondering, well, why don't I struggle with things anymore? Why do I just allow things to be? And there's this openness and freedom, and that's not to say that I don't smack my thumb with my hammer.
Right.
But
Life's
it's
still happening.
just, it's, yeah, of course it does. It, you know, but it's because of, I guess, my awareness of this form is not me, and it's this energy that connects everybody all the time. And so I just feel like I'm in the world, but not really, you know,
caught up in this.
Yeah, nothing catches. It's an interesting ebb and flow of all phenomenon, and the ability to, and it's weird because you're not separating yourself from it at all. You're totally immersing yourself in all of it.
Right.
And it's, to me, it has become very easy.
Well, that's the idea, is for it to become less suffering, and then to become less suffering for you as well as others with whom we engage, interact, and share this world. There was a question in chat from Annika, thank you, Annika, about should the phrase be the same phrase? And the answer is yes. They just understand that repetition of that which is similar or familiar is better for recollection and use, actually, than coming up with something new every day, which is, you know, these traditions were oral, as we know. And of course, what we also know is that they kept it routine in a way sometimes that I think also could become a problem. But just for this week, we're going to get a phrase, whatever that is, whatever you construct for you, and you're going to be repeating it, writing it first, repeating it at least once every day, and then carrying it as best you can with you to repeat often throughout the day. This is the training. That's what the whole point of the slogans was to be remembering. Now, have I remembered? Here I was just the other day, recognizing a moment of distress, my family in some conflict, me feeling pain at the reality of that conflict, watching going, I don't know how we are going to keep doing this like this. It may not be a benefit to continue if I have any authority in that, at least for the invitation list. I'm not sure. I want to think that through and check in with others on that. In that moment, I did not think, what about all those others too? I got a little fixated. I got caught in my own shtick and story for a minute. Like, and then a few moments later, I was like, yeah, you know, all those others who have difficult family moments, all those who don't know what the right thing to do or say. And I could really feel the truth of both that suffering and the wish that I could use this moment. And so I could breathe in right then is how it happened. It was several minutes later, but I could use the breath then to say, yes, I'm remembering that all of us have family challenges, not because we don't love our family, but because there is pain and suffering as a reality. There are mental afflictions, there are habits of mind and do play out. And how do I skillfully, lovingly contribute something? And the way I could begin was simply bring in for myself and all those who know this moment of difficulty as well. I didn't come up with anything brilliant, by the way. It wasn't like, oh, solution. I don't know that there is one. What I can say is that it got this mental affliction is certainly relieved because I was no longer caught up in my storyline about, you know, my fucked up family and what they can and cannot do together, which of course is not true. It is not accurate. I appreciate Mike's teachings. However, I still need these slogans. Yes, me too, Andy, to remind and train. Yeah, I do as well. It's all true, right? There's no picking the realities. The realities are that we are all enlightened beings. And the reality is that we all fall into mental affliction. And it is to wake up to the whole truth of it. And how do we get supports for ourselves and others in these human moments? And so I agree. I want to look at the book for a second. I don't know if you guys can see that, so I'm going to do this one more time. See if we can do a share screen on this. Let's just take a minute. We only have a moment or two and see what, this is chapter 39 in the path, the Bodhisattva path. And I don't think there's too much here. It's in the next chapter. I do like this statement. I think it speaks to Mike's also. It says, it has been said in the scriptures that without exertion, you cannot journey on the path. That if we leave it to chance or we leave it to random occurrence, that there is some effort, energy, discipline on the path in order to get to the place that Mike's talking about, where there is true relief. And I know for myself, for me, I do want to use everything. I do want to capture even these subtle moments, by the way, and I know they're subtle. I have no difficulties today as it stands in compared to most of the people in the world. I'm in a home with people who are loving in a beautiful place and I have enough food. You know, I don't have very much in the way of real afflictions. But I do notice the mind habits. And I want to work with those as well, because as it says in chapter 4, these will be there at the time of death. And we are going to be training at that moment in exactly the same way that we are training now. And so I want to build the muscle for that, because I want to make every transition, moment to moment, breath to breath, life to death, as usable, as much of benefit as is possible. And so there's the 5 strengths that I went over. He'll point to them here: strong determination and the fact that we can cultivate momentum. We do want to activate that bodhicitta as a part of our determination. The familiarization, that's what we're going to be practicing this week when we're writing our slogan for how to use every moment, pleasant or unpleasant, on the medium of the breath, in the most familiar way, so that it becomes natural. The other thing that Mike said is it's natural for me now. So that it becomes natural, that it becomes just our nature to recognize and utilize.
And can I make a clarification on that? It's not that my life is just blissful wonderfulness. I'm into all of the emotions and all of the thoughts to, you know, they arise and they pass, and it just becomes, you know, moment to moment, and without getting caught up in it, and also by not attaching those to a self. It's just part of form of this life, this precious life, that if we didn't have any difficulties, what would we do? Nothing there to wake us up.
We can't escape the reality of this human life, and neither should we try, right? This is not a transcending human life. These teachings say it is, in fact, life itself that is so completely usable, that the everything that we need is right here, actually. And I did hear that you were saying the same, Mike. I didn't hear that nothing ever comes up, or it doesn't mean it's a problem. Though I also heard you say, and I would happen to agree with that, by the way, I don't see whatever's happening in my life as a problem, including my family interaction. And the feelings I had about that interaction were not a problem. I wasn't even trying to get rid of them. I felt the compassion in it, which is, okay, this is what happens when we cling to a view. This is what happens when we get caught up in a perspective, right? This is the suffering that is its result. And for about 2 moments, I was caught myself in like, uh-oh, how do I break up this fight? And then actually could find my way back, which is, wait a minute, this is a part of family life. This is a part of what we all know and experience. How do I use even this moment without needing to fix anything? Nothing needed fixing. I was able to then simply breathe with it, which I have to say was both a relief for me. And I know for others, because I know others could feel the in it. And I checked actually with some others who went, yep, we saw you relaxed, and we all went, okay, I guess there's no problem here. Okay, I guess we're okay. Even though Grandma's yelling at Dad, I think maybe we're all right. You know, all part of the fun. The seeds of virtue, remember that in every moment, no matter its condition, is a moment for cultivating virtue, and we're all working hard at that. I liked this line: you have created tremendous trouble for me. This is one of the ways that the Tibetans use ego. They quantify it just as we have, of course, the demon, or as evil, or as evil, or so they personify it, and then they yell it. You've created all this trouble for me, and I don't like you. You've caused me so much trouble that you make me continue to wander in samsara. And I just think that's adorable, and is often used, particularly in the Tibetan tradition. In this way, they will personify it and then chastise. Knock it off.
Smile.
Knock it off. Yeah, we could only smile. Knock it off. Stop doing this to me, you nasty ego fixation. And then we set aspiration again and again. And this is the nature of the Bodhisattva vow, is that I recite it every day, and I keep coming back to it and remembering there is a benefit to all of this. And this is the one about death. I don't want to go into that right now, so I'm going to keep going. 2.5, all dharmas agree at one point.
Hmm.
And again, remember the point being ego fixation, getting caught in a self story making is the cause of suffering with attachments and will cause us harm and pain. So that's that one. The one I was looking for of the two, hold the principle one. The actual authenticness is you. It says in Chogyam's teaching, as it does in many, I'm using that differently. Again, as I use drive all blames into one differently. I am talking about the ultimate absolute one, the truth. That may we all bear witness to the truth, and that we hold that as the principal witness, not our perspective or or the perspective of another. In fact, the family fight was exactly happened for that reason. And the way it ended was simply my saying, it is true. There are difficulties on all sides. There is suffering on all sides. There is the wish for ease and happiness on all sides. And that truth, everybody could open to that. Not my side, your side, there, me. It was by taking the principal witness of the biggest truth that we can find ourselves in that actually invited the relief. Not so much intentioned at that point. Just, this is what I know, is that we all want to be happy, and we're all fearful about the implications and divisions. Always maintain a joyful mind. That means remember that in every moment we can use whatever is here to the benefit, and that we smile, as Mike was just saying, we smile at the reality that even in this moment of difficulty, even in this moment of blessing, even in this completely sweet moment, let's not contract and get into the me, mine, not that version, but that we can use it. If you can practice even when distracted, you are well trained. We did that a little bit today by saying no matter what comes up, we can turn a distraction, a momentary distraction, into a complete path of awakening, right on the spot, in the moment, by not allowing the old, contracted, ego-clinging storyline to just run. Why me? How come? Can't we just have a good birthday party? I don't understand why it's got to be like this, which, by the way, didn't actually happen. But that would be a way to further the suffering, that we can use this moment, as Mike said, every moment, a moment of awakening. Absolutely. And so practice waking up by reciting your slogan, how am I going to use this moment? And then by actually using the practice with the breath, practicing training on the medium of the breath. Those are the two critical pieces. I don't think there's anything else. I didn't underline it because it didn't seem different than what we were. We're going to be going over point 6 next week. It's also great. It's very long, but it's a lot of just ways to remember what the slogans are and how it's just instructions, such as this: knock it off. Stop using difficult, painful, outrageous self-clinging in our everyday life, and that we can do so even joyfully. All right, I'm going to let this be. We don't have that many more minutes. I'm going to open up the remainder of our time to questions or comments about this. Let me know your thoughts about this.
Hi, Diana.
Hi.
How's it going?
Hi, is this Anthony?
Good. Thanks, Bo. Oh, yeah. Let me move to see if I can get a slightly better Wi-Fi connection here.
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Um, yeah, I'll take myself off of mute video too. There I am. Yeah, so I wanted to thank you and thank you, Mike, for those yeah, just those awesome instructions and poignant examples of this is something that I had really been considering lately in regard to like a long-standing kind of mental affliction or disturbance or whatever, which was just I think I mentioned it in the group before, but just you know um, unwanted intrusive thought patterns. I've been diagnosed with OCD, so it's just a hallmark of OCD. And this is like decades in, and I'm strangely grateful for it lately because it's provided me a really, really powerful tool in this same regard that we're now discussing to, upon the arising of, some kind of disturbing unwanted thought, there's a choice point. There's a immediate choice point of, okay, at this point in my practice, I realize how really ridiculous it is to latch on to that thought, to glom onto that thought, and to prolong the suffering associated with the thought, simply because it doesn't exist anymore. It only exists for as long as I allow it to exist, as does everything, as does everything else. And so it's it's just so funny. It's like this is something that I would like shout from the mountaintops, but I realize that it's like that's the deal with a neurological imbalance, is that often it won't allow you to, quote unquote, but it just blows my mind that with enough training you can override. I've been able to override that just with this profound shift in perception based on the illusion of linear time, essentially. This thing only, yeah, it's and so it's beautiful. And I think thank you for the teaching, but and how this can be related to, there's another point of it. It's that it's perpetuating both the the illusion of linear time and the a denial of the present moment by hanging on to it, but and it's also perpetuating a narrative that I've built on my illusory self, on this is a fundamental part of who I am or whatever.
Yeah,
Not true at all. So
not true. That's right.
yeah. So those 2 points are wherein lie the liberation. And
Yes. As we crack through the delusion of, again, my family, even that line, right, in my example, my family, there they go. It's not true. It's the nature of relationship, the nature of family, the nature of connections. They come with, right, moments, and some are easeful and some are more complicated. They're all beautiful, really. Um, uh, Now I'm smiling because the first shock was, there goes the party. And these thankfully, because of practice, I could say, wait a minute, this is just a moment. It was actually a difficult moment in that there was pain, there was fear in the moment. There was, how are we going to be together? How are we going to work this out together if we have these different thoughts or perspectives, politically or otherwise? And I could feel for that. And that line, we're in this together. We're all going to be in this together. We all care about our own and each other's safety. and climbing out once again of that brain stem's beautiful, beautiful habit for taking over. And it's a reality. Left to its own device, it will do exactly that. And so how do we practice and train? And so that's our work this week. Writing down one phrase, repeating it every day, seeing if you can't carry it in some way with you, make it transportable, card, something, stick it places where you can be running into it and repeating it throughout the day, and then using it on the spot with the medium of the breath, breathing in and breathing out, and see how it opens us and dissolves the delusion, Anthony said, as well did Mike, of the solid, fixed, permanent, separate self. What a lie. What a lie. Just not true. And that we can see the way to the truth. That principle one is the path to freedom. I know it to be true, as I know you do as well. So let's sit together for just a moment. Thank you for those, all those beautiful offerings. We'll continue. I will be sending out that next chapter to those interested. But for now, taking a good in-breath, just arriving here. And so may we breathe in all that wisdom. May we recognize our moments of confusion right from that wisdom. That's what Mike was saying. The wisdom itself sees clearly. The body reinforces the truth for us by contracting or opening. We can just wake down to verify. And then we can respond. This is key. We are alive in this world, interconnected, interdependent. And so our actions ultimately impact, influence others. And so we breathe in both the pleasant and unpleasant and make an offering. In this moment of ease, may I contribute to your ease. In this moment of suffering, may I take on all suffering, freeing you from suffering. May we dedicate the merits, the blessings, and the benefits of this practice today and all practice, and all non-practice, to the end of suffering, and to the promise, to the accumulation, to the realization of true happiness and freedom. May we offer these blessings in all directions, touching each being, each thing, so that we may all be happy, we may all be free, we may all have ease. May we know that we are loved and a part of the whole. And may it be so this very day. So be it. Thank you so much for being here. Lovely to see you all. If you want to come on and say goodbye or hello, please do. It's something I forget to do, and I know it means a lot to us to just hear each other's voice for a moment. So if that's something that feels right for you, just come on and say hello. I hope you have a beautiful day, And look forward to seeing you. Mike will be teaching on Thursday morning at 7. So please join us at 7 a.m. Thursday morning for Mike. And then I'll be back on, well, I'll be there Thursday as well, but I'll be back on Saturday. We're going to be sticking with this point and developing it a little more. What other points do we need from the slogans to support us? I will be bringing my card on Saturday to show you what I have written and what I am using. I'd like you to do the same. Bring it, take some time this morning to write it, and then be practicing it. I want you to see the difference in that one small support. All right, everyone, be well. Blessings to all once again. Good to see you. My whole line, my front line, I've got a little line of faces here. They're all men. So how lovely to see all you guys. That's just delightful. It's like a brotherhood. I feel like I'm a part of the brotherhood. That's really wonderful. Good to see you all.